There are 5 different areas in Pokemon Go that if you pursue them will for surely drive you nuts at some point or another. So I'm gonna make you aware of them and give you alternatives to help you stay positive, appreciative, and pursue the right things in Pokemon Go. So with all that said, welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go. As we all play Pokemon Go, maybe you're a new player or maybe you are a veteran player, there are for surely 5 things in this game that will drive you completely nuts. One of those things, starting off at number 5, we were gonna start at number 1, but we're gonna count down in reverse order. We are looking at the should-bes of Pokemon Go. We all fall into this trap thinking about, oh, Pokemon Go or Niantic should do this. They shouldn't do this. They should do this. This is how the game should operate. And while that is a fun conversation to have with our friends and other things, sometimes we fall into the trap of thinking that this is how Pokemon Go could be, would be, should be, best served if, but that is not the current reality of Pokemon Go. And me as a content creator and a hardcore player, I often fall into this trap myself. Talking about with my friends, other creators, and things like that, like why can't Niantic or Pokemon Go do this? Why can't they operate it in this way? But in reality, I am not gonna be able to control the game. I can give my feedback, I can provide feedback to people that may matter, but at the end of the day, it's ultimately up to them. So, taking Pokemon Go at face value is going to be very important in a very important way to keep yourself sane, on the right track, and to accept this game for what it is and not what it could be, because obviously the game does evolve, but it seems to not evolve like other games such as Fortnite and other games like Call of Duty where it's like, oh, maybe let's try this, let's innovate this, let's do this, oh, this isn't working, let's dial this back. That's not really what Pokemon Go's main trajectory of their game typically is. They are more of a safe game, adding in slight features here and there before occasional big features do get released. Which then leads us into the expectation number 4, which is going to be event expectations. Oftentimes, myself included, I think I might be the guiltiest of this. I see brand new event news come out and I'm like, man, oh man, I am so excited about this event. I can't wait for hatching eggs. I can't wait to see the shiny Pokemon in the wild. I can't wait for this. I can't wait for that. And then the events come out and it's like, it's not quite to be what it was. And the thing we have to remember here is Pokemon as a game and a franchise has always been a long grind of a game. So if you have expectations that Pokemon Go will be different, that is going to leave you shortchanged as a game. Because yes, there are events in Pokemon Go, such as some of the limited research day events like the Stunfisk, where you have the ability to get a lot more higher shiny odds. The raid days, where something like the Avalugg, I was able to get 8 or 9 shiny Avalugg on that 3 hours. And calm days, where they are going to give you increased shiny odds that are much more increased when you do get an event where it's like, oh, there's going to be increased shiny odds. They could bump that up 1% and be truthful in what they're saying. And they're not going to make most of the events easy for you to obtain those things. And think about it, if everything was easy to obtain in Pokemon Go, would that shiny be that much more special to you? Probably not. So that is one of the reasons why in spot number 4, it's very important to manage your expectations with these events. Know that more than likely it's going to be more challenging than it reads. And if you do really want to have an event with truly bumped up odds, obviously stay tuned to my channel so I can tell you that, but community days are great events to bump up the shiny chances, and raid days are great days to be able to get even more raids coming out for you, because they're going to have a specific time window that's going to bump up the quantity of raids, and sometimes, not raid hour, but other days like the raid days, which are basically 3-hour windows on some Sundays, will bump you up in the shiny odds for the most part, which is then going to lead us into the number 3, which will be one of my favorite features in the game, but also the same thing that drives me nuts, is the whole realm of lucky friends. So getting lucky friends is going to be, once you hit best friends, every single day after that you have one chance of interacting. Your first chance of the day interaction could turn you lucky friends. If you interact 5 times after that first time, it doesn't matter. You only get one shot, and that's on your first interaction for the day. Not only that, let's say that you have a lucky friend and you're going to do that lucky trade today. Do not interact before you have this trade, because if you interact before, you have canceled out your capability of becoming lucky friends again. And while it is extremely rare, if you don't interact and the first interaction of that day is going to be your lucky trade, you could go lucky again. It's only happened to me 2, for sure, maybe 3 times in my entire scope of lucky trades, which is for sure hundreds, but there is that slight possibility, so you might as well save that. So let's talk more about the lucky friends. So lucky friends, interact with your friends as much as possible, because when eventually you do hit lucky friends, which more than likely likely you will, even though I do have some people on my friends list that I have not ever with, but I do anticipate that I will. You will get those lucky friends. And then the even more disappointing thing about this process is that the lucky trades are a guaranteed 12-12-12, but if you do end up with a 12-12-12 or a 12-13-12 or a 13-13-14 or something like that, I get disappointed in those situations because number one, I've waited all that time to get that lucky friends, then we do that trade, and then we get the disappointment factor. So although it's not my favorite part of these lucky friends interactions, it is a process of the lucky friends interactions. And just remember, the grind and long grind make the wins that much more sweeter. So although it is disappointing, just remember to keep your head held high and expect that this will happen more than likely. Try to get your hope, your excitement to hopefully drive more luck towards you, but at the same time, make sure to know and keep yourself in check that it's okay and you will eventually experience something beneficial, which also happens in regular trades as well, which is then going to lead us into the second most challenging thing in Pokemon Go that you should manage, which is going to be your 100% IVs. So 100% IVs are the highest IV stat that you can get into the game. If you're not familiar, all of the bars when you appraise your Pokemon will take you all the way till 15, 15, 15, and they will be, instead of yellow, they will be kind of like a reddish fuchsia color, and all the bars will be maxed out. That stat is the rarest in the game. It is the most challenging to get those from wild Pokemon, and it is not quite as challenging to get those from lucky Pokemon, but it's a little bit more challenging to get those from hatching and raiding. And a lot of us may see Zekrom, Reshiram, Mewtwo, Rayquaza, and be like, gosh, I have to have this Pokemon as a 100% IV because I love it. It's so powerful. Primal Groudon's amazing. I need that Pokemon. But just to manage expectations on those, for Groudon in specific, it took me 660 raids. If you want to see my journey, you can check it out up here, to be able to get that 100% IV. So I just want to manage those expectations with you and know that sometimes in raids, such as Tapu Bulu, I did maybe 20 raids and ended up getting a hundo, and I didn't really care. So one thing to manage as far as expectations goes here is that yes, it's very cool to get those 100% IVs. It's very awesome to get the legendary 100% IVs because it does take premium XL candy to get it there. But at what cost are you willing to go through and what process to be able to get yourself there? If you are patient, which is a very important place to be in Pokemon Go because patience always pays off, you can wait until you get that 100% IV. Not only can you wait, you can get your Groudons, let's say for instance, and trade them each and every day for an even swap. Trade them over 100 kilometers. You will get a guaranteed XL candy. You will get 3 regular candy, and you will get a chance to get that Pokemon lucky. And once it goes lucky, 12-12-12 is the minimum, which makes it even more chances to be able to get you 100% IV. So that's what I would suggest doing. And also, I do want to encourage you guys that if you do get a 98% IV, a 96% IV, and other things like that, just remember that 100% IVs, 98s, and 96s are very, very, very close in their stat distribution, and more than likely, unless you get matched up in the Master League against 100% IV and a 96% IV and you're going even keel with these Pokemon, more than likely you will never experience a situation where you're gonna see that big of a difference in those Pokemon, because let's check out my experience between a level 40 and a level 50 100% IV Dragonite when battling with them and see how small of a difference is in 10 levels of 100% IV Pokemon. But think about how different of a potential that is and what's going on there, which will then lead us into the #1 most crazy driving activity in Pokemon Go, which is going to be shiny hunting. Shiny hunting includes wild Pokemon, raid Pokemon, and hatched Pokemon. So all of these Pokemon have slightly different rates depending on which Pokemon they are and what time you are catching them. But for the most part, the wild Pokemon are chances of 1 in about 450. Raid Pokemon are definitely different, and they can be anywhere between 1 in 20 to 1 in 50, depending on the Pokemon, and the egg Pokemon are rare at that, because just remember, for the egg Pokemon, not only do you have to hatch that specific Pokemon, but then that specific Pokemon has to become a shiny. So if you want to see all the shiny rates, check them out up here. So what do you manage as far as your shiny expectations go? Because even on events such as GoFest, which has increased shiny odds, oftentimes I won't get all of the shinies that I hope to get. And that's totally okay, because the only thing I'm going to mention to you guys in this aspect is patience pays off. Do not get discouraged if you're outside of a calm day of not getting a shiny, even a shiny boosted Pokemon, because eventually, with playing long enough and consistent enough, you will run into that shiny. I can't express how many times I've been like bummed about a shiny back in the day where I was like, oh man, you know, this shiny, let's say Love Disc came out, I grinded the entire event, I didn't get a shiny, they said the shiny was boosted, I feel disappointed, and then eventually I end up getting that Pokemon. And it's okay, guys, it is okay. Patience pays off, and be persistent, consistent, but focus on, in each of these areas, what is gonna be the most easy part of this process. If I'm wild hunting, I'm getting shinies, I'm getting exercise, I could be interacting with my friends. If it's hatching, I'm hatching 12-kilometer eggs, I'm getting stardust, I'm contributing towards my egg medal, I'm walking these Pokemon every way. If I'm gonna feel a lack in any of these areas with spending money, if I don't get that shiny or that 100% IV, I encourage you highly to not do that. Why may you not do that? Because that is going to make you feel lack, it will make you feel like you want to give up and maybe not play this game any longer. So manage your expectations, know that patience pays off, and in each of these areas, and if you have an area that is further beyond any of these, you want to comment in the comment below and create a thread, drop it down here. So love and appreciate you guys. Play Pokemon Go for the right reasons and enjoy yourself. So thank you guys to all my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members. Everybody takes your support, subscription, and participation to the next level. I'm gonna see you guys out in the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.